Hello and good morning. Now, it's said that true friends stay through the good times and the bad times, even the sluggish times.
Yeah.
And right here on Wake Up Nigeria, we've made a vow. We're going to stick to you like glue through all the public holidays, all the busy work schedules. We're like white on rice.
Yes,
we're not leaving.
Yes, white on rice we are, guys. Always ready to serve you pure and unadulterated content, guys, that will nourish and nurture your mind, your body, your spirit.
Yes,
maybe.
indeed.
Welcome, guys. It's another midweek edition of your favorite TV show, Wake Up Nigeria.
Yes, so sometimes we need to give you a burst of energy, a spark, some brightness. Speaking of brightness, Winfrey is shining ever so brightly this morning. How are you doing, darling?
Lizzie, I can leave off your compliments. Hi, guys. Good morning. It's the first working day of the week. Amazing, amazing. It's amazing that it's a Wednesday edition right here on Wake Up Nigeria. And we have the ladies on ground. Definitely excited for today's one.
Yes,
so
yes, we
it's
are.
Wonder Woman Wednesday.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And as always, we are always the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
We don't want you to have enough of us, guys. We want to keep giving it to you. So please, keep taking us in and keep welcoming us into your homes every single day.
Watching us is easy. All you have to do is find a way to watch us live, right? There are many different platforms you can do that on. We have a mobile app that's available for you to download on Google Play or iOS. You could also watch us on YouTube. I was actually going to say on YouTube.
Yeah, that's live, right?
Yeah, TVC Entertainment. We're streaming live right there, right now.
Yes, guys, and you can also watch us on GOTV channel 16 and UHF channel 49. Remember, guys, to always follow us on all our socials at TVC Entertainment _. Let's take you right into what we have on the show today.
Indeed. Today's Wednesday. It's all about nutrition on Wednesdays. We're joined by Ayegusi Temitope Bodunde. He is a registered nutritionist, dietitian, member of the Nutrition Society of Nigeria, and he's also a member of the American Society of Nutrition as well. So who better to speak on this topic? Some dietary modifications and planned activity that could be your tools for weight reduction. So we've been doing all sorts of topics in that area.
Yes, and for a musical performance, we have Bad Boy Pei King. Music for him has always been his therapy, and well, he'll be joining us later on. And on relationship later on, we have Pastor Tosin Tokpe Papalola. He's a seasoned teacher of the Word of Life, a relationship expert, and later on relationship, we'll discuss things that real men do in marriages.
Did you say real men?
Real men.
Real men in quotes. Air quotes. So I feel like the definition of a real man has changed over the years.
So what?
So I just feel like real man used to be sort of cosmetic, you know, used to have a particular look. And eventually, as we were growing up, probably our generation, as we were growing up, the real man looked like our father, like how our dad would look. And then eventually, when you're looking for a partner, you either look for someone who's exactly like your dad or exactly opposite.
I don't really look for men who look like our dad.
Well, not look like or help us.
I think more of like attract.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Or probably we're attracted to men that, because people say, I mean, guys get married to women that remind them of their moms.
Yeah.
Women literally somehow gravitate. Not, of course, not like totally.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe some semblance and maybe the way, I mean, it depends on the relationship you also had your dad, actually.
Exactly.
What did you see your dad doing that you know your husband does? Is there anything you know your dad used to do that your husband does?
Provider.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
All
my husband is big
throughout.
on providing, and my dad too was big on providing. He was always, ensuring that we were well taken care of, right? Yeah. So I don't think while I was looking for, I think for me, what my major priority for what I was looking for in a man has always been how he treats women.
Oh,
yes.
fantastic.
That has always been big,
Very true.
a big priority, big
For me, it was
major factor rather.
family-centric, and in essence having some domesticated traits as well. My dad cooks back to back. He cooks up a storm. My husband does as well.
And yeah.
For
you
me,
have
it
to
was a
go now.
man that could make it rain.
Hello and good morning. It's time for a news update right here on Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Titilayo Onyison. Thank you for joining us. For job seekers and aspiring business owners in Lagos, it's good news as the state government, along with other organizations, have introduced a program to enable relevant skill acquisition that can ensure financial stability. Iniolua Kukuola has more details.
This is the official launch of the Lagos State Youth Upskill Program. This is a program that would not just empower about 1 million youths with relevant digital skills, but would enable them get placement for jobs and income generation opportunities.
The website that we created.
The Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, Mobolaji Ogunlende, noted that this would ensure many young persons are up to date with recent technological trends.
LAGOP, being implemented in collaboration with our esteemed partners, GFA Technologies and Wema Bank, represents a significant step towards empowering our young people. It is a testament to our shared commitment to invest in the future of Lagos State and, by extension, Nigeria. LAGOP will not only provide training, but also provide a digital platform for SMEs to bolster their sales and growth. Additionally, it will establish a digital business data repository for governmental and stakeholder use and create an interactive digital platform.
He also revealed that this would propel Lagos State to be at the forefront of technological advancement while driving economic growth for generations.
The administration of our governor, your governor, Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, will not relent in its investment and support for the development and growth of the teeming population of youth in Lagos State, as it is committed to providing an enabling environment for them to thrive and reach their potentials. The project's implementation will occur in phases, with each cohort undergoing virtual training sessions for a minimum of 3 months. Participants aged between 18 to 35, fluent in reading and writing, and residents in Lagos will have the opportunity to earn certificates from esteemed partners such as Google, Microsoft, Meta, and AWS, to mention a few.
With this initiative on board, poverty, inequality, and unemployment may become non-existent in the lives of many. Iniolua Kukuola, TVC News, Lagos.
And we're staying with developments in Rivers State, where the Nigeria police have taken over security at all 23 local governments in the state, following violence that broke out yesterday across the state. In a statement issued by the police public relations officer in the state, part of it reads, and we quote, "Following the breakdown of law and order in the various local government council secretariats in Rivers State, where supporters of the two political factions clashed over the tenure of local government council chairman, a case of death was recorded at Ebere Omwawa local government area, where a police officer and a vigilante were killed. To forestall more bloodshed and prevent a further breakdown of law and order, the police have taken over all 23 council secretariats and some critical government infrastructure in the state. Conventional police officers and anti-riot police officers have been deployed to these facilities, while urging all groups and individuals to be law-abiding. And then the command also warned anyone who intends to cause mayhem, as they will not hesitate to impose the full weight of the law upon them. President Bola Tinubu has arrived Pretoria, South Africa, where he will attend the inauguration of President Cyril Ramaphosa, following his re-election as the president for a second time. President Tinubu was invited alongside about 18 world leaders who will witness the oath taking by President Ramaphosa. President Tinubu's participation will also strengthen existing bilateral and trade ties between the two countries, who are Africa's biggest economies. The acting permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ben Okoyen, says President Tinubu's presence is also an endorsement of democratic governance. The South African president secured victory after his party, the African National Congress, entered an unprecedented coalition with other parties. The ANC won only 40% of the votes and the 29th of May elections, and lost its absolute majority in the country's parliament.
This is a very normal and usual visit, and Nigeria take this opportunity to also visit to strengthen our relationship. Nigeria and South Africa has come a long way. These are big players in the African continent, the biggest economies and the promoters of democracy. Today we are celebrating another success of democracy. So it's very important that Nigeria is in this country today to be with the South African people to ensure that we continue.
And that's all we can take on the news for this hour right here on Wake Up Nigeria. There's still quite a bit more coming your way. Don't go anywhere. All right, the ladies are back at the table here for What's Up and About. How have you all been doing?
I've been doing great.
Been doing good?
Great, yeah.
So have you done your market runs for this month?
Not yet.
You've not done yours,
I
have you?
haven't done mine yet, and that's because it's been a really busy month for me. I haven't had the time. And, well, I was going to do it last week, and then, boom,
Okay.
high cost of tomatoes.
You had a
pepper.
rethink. You had a rethink.
And I'm like, okay, maybe it's because of the layer. But the truth is, actually, there's been, there's been that, high cost of tomatoes and pepper. It's been on the rise, for, a couple of weeks now, not just last week, in, view of the Ilea, which just passed. And so right now I'm like, well, I'll just give it a couple more days.
Yeah, okay, you just want to relax.
Let's just see how, if the prices,
Come down.
come down.
There was some, I think there was a trending quote of someone important saying that the price of Gary has gone down. But I can't confirm because I've not gone. I'm just saying, just throwing it out there. But what about you, Winnie? Have you been to the market of recent?
Oh, yeah.
You have? How was the experience?
It was the Nigerian experience.
I like the way you said that.
To be honest, I try not, as much as possible not to bother myself with the cost. Yeah, I mean, it's shocking. Sometimes you ask for the price of an item and I'm like, I'm just like, okay. We're just going to thank God that there's money to buy it. And just buy it and keep it moving, right? But then again, I think more than anything, I'm now more conscious of, like, not wasting things. Because normally before, like, you know how you buy tomato, you now put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
After a while, you want the bottom, you now turn somehow.
Yeah.
You now pack it. You now...
Eh?
I cannot even use the word anymore. Do you understand? But now I'm just more conscious, keeping more things frozen than just leaving them in the fridge.
Yeah.
And just packaging things properly and also not like... just doing things nicely and just making sure that, see, every money that's being spent is being eaten, not being thrown away or being wasted. So, yeah.
Talking about not being thrown away. Now with the kids, if they eat their food, I'm like, Mommy. So what they do usually is if they're eating and they're not able to finish it, so they bring the plate of food to me and they say, Mommy, I'm not able to finish it. I'm okay. I said, okay, so now that you intend to, keep this one, who's going to eat it? And they say, nobody. And I say,
Not anymore.
So you give it back to them?
please eat your food.
Exactly.
Finish it.
So it was interesting. There was a post that, who was the person that highlighted it this morning?
That was the DG of NAFDAC.
Yes.
That's Dr. Mojisola Adeyeye, actually. So yesterday, there were reports of her saying that, so let me just look for it. I don't want to misquote her. So in this report, Professor Moji Adeyeye, so in this report, she says that she's urged Nigerians to refrain from storing cooked food in the refrigerator for more than 3 days.
Wow.
So in other words, if you have been, once you cook your food, ensure that between the between in the space of 3 days, you're able to, consume it. Don't leave it after 3 days. And
I understand why some people would, comment on this, because in truth, a lot of people over the weekend cook in bulk, right? Because there's just not enough time to cook throughout the week, because you're doing school runs, going to work, coming back in traffic. So you just warm it and eat. So I feel like there should be some caveat somewhere in this conversation.
So she actually also, the reason she said this is because, other than the fact that we know how the electricity situation in the country has been so far, if the food is not properly refrigerated, it is prone to, pathogens and, bacteria that could cause or lead to death, from the food not properly being refrigerated. So that's why she said this. And in right now with, the outbreak, the cholera outbreak that is, in some areas of Lagos State, she's just basically calling, calling us to order as Nigerians, because we know how it can be. Funny enough, talking about tomatoes and pepper, yesterday, we're talking about how, the leftovers from the tomatoes and peppers that may have not been bought during the Salah holiday or, over the weekend because of the high cost would be there, and they could just get spoiled. And then, of course, because
people will still buy it.
People will still buy it, but that's not healthy, because some of those tomatoes and peppers have been there, and some of them must have gotten rotten.
I know that some Buka owners, I'm talking about the local, that is what they go to the market for.
So I was
they don't even go for the fresh ones.
Exactly. So I know people that specifically go to buy those ones because most times they're cheaper.
Much cheaper.
And especially in times like this, people actually target things like that and say, hey, just wash it and you put it on fire.
Yeah.
It will burn
And
all
it
the
will
bacteria and all of that. So it's just really, it's sad. And I think, that actually was what spurred her to actually say that, because, we all know, with the grid off not too long ago, how the lights was fluctuating and everything. And I noticed, another thing I noticed as well, and I heard people complain about a lot, was the power supply not being stable in the sense of the voltage, right? So now we're having low currents, going up, coming down, things that actually, like I had like a number of bulbs literally just up in my house, like I think yesterday or 2 days ago.
I had that situation as well.
So I think the idea is also, considering the cholera, because cholera is very, very contagious. And of course, bacteria, you can't see it. So I think in the end, the best practices is just to make sure that we keep our hygiene on a top, on check.
Okay.
Wash your hands regularly. If you're eating, for any reason you have to eat, I just avoid eating outside. That's what I do anyway.
Yeah.
And if you have to buy anything from outside that is raw, probably like fruits, vegetables, make sure you wash them
properly.
Use vinegar. Use salt. Use salt water.
Talking about vinegar, I was saying to myself this morning that I need to get vinegar.
Now, we have to think about the cost of all this. Now, even the fridge that we're even talking about, most people are turning them off because of the high tariffs.
Electricity tariffs.
So we're at a crossroads. I think we're going to have to go back to some very old school storage methods. Someone highlighted a video of jarring pepper now instead of refrigerating. I'd say it's not that complicated a process.
Because fresh pepper or blended one?
So you blend and you cook it to a certain extent inside a glass jar. So it's been hot water sterilized, and then you jar it, then you cover it and boil the whole jar inside hot water.
Okay.
That's how jam is made. That's how all those glass jarred foods that we buy in the supermarkets, that's how they are preserved. And they can last for up to a year. It doesn't require.
It depends on where.
It doesn't require refrigeration once you jar it.
So as much as I hear you, right, you also know that our climate is very humid.
Yeah,
right, and that's something I noticed as well with leaving.
Once you've jarred it, you've jarred it. Once you've jarred it, so jarring it's. I don't know the science of it. I can't. I'm not a scientist, but I understand the process, and it kills all the bacteria around it. The only reason why it would spoil is once you open it and expose it.
Yeah, to moisture. Because the minute you expose it to air, then moisture goes in, and then that attracts bacteria. So I can understand the.
There's also I would have said salting, but salt is bad for you. Some people used to salt their meat. Some people still salt their fish and that preserves it. Also drying foods as well. There's this air drying thing. This
But the
machine
weather
now.
is
That's what I'm saying. So if
not
you
it's
dry
wet
it,
right
when it's
now.
also humid.
We're in a rainy season, so
We
I
have to
don't know
find a
about
solution,
drying,
Sha.
but I think we all have to find alternative methods. And in this, this point where, with the let's just all be hygienically safe and ensure that our children, because they're resuming school today, are properly, ensure that they wash their hands. Even schools, let them ensure that they put, the right method, the methods or measures in place to ensure that these kids wash their hands and, they're, safe, hygienically safe at all times. So we're going on a quick break now. The show continues shortly, guys. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Let's take a quick look at what's happening on the covers of the newspapers this morning. Today is Wednesday, June 19th, 2024. Winfrey's here.
Hi.
Yeah. The covers of the dailies, as always, packed full of headlines. And this is the first one. On the cover of The Guardian, it says here, Rivers in turmoil as Fubara pro-Wike factions battle for local government areas. Now, that's the cover story there, the major cover story there. And as you can see, quite a few things, more questions than answers at this point. And I did read earlier on that the police have taken over all the local government areas of the state to sort of ease the tension that's going on. But there's still quite a lot happening in that particular area. We'll be following up with those stories in subsequent bulletins. Nigeria in race against time as fresh cholera outbreak kills 30 in 30 states. The story there continues on page 6. Abuja CCTV project, more questions than answers for $460 million contract 14 years after. Interesting. Report, 300 Nigerian millionaires may migrate in 2024. I was about to add a prayer to that one, right? But I don't know. I don't know. I'm just. I shouldn't. I should just leave that there. Also, it says here, NAFDAC says cooked food in fridge beyond 3 days harmful. We talked about that earlier on. For Tinubu's economic policies to achieve desired results, an editorial on page 12. And prioritize Mambila Power Project like Calabar Coastal Road. Page 29 has more on that. Now, this cholera conversation keeps coming up over and over and over again. And it does feel like people are not taking it as seriously. I even feel that there should be more campaigns to make sure that people are more enlightened so they understand exactly what's going on.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's really, it's interesting, right? Because not too long ago, we were literally totally shut down by a pandemic. Right, and same thing, right? When it started initially, a lot of people didn't take it seriously until it literally had to lead to a national shutdown. I mean, a global shutdown and all of that. So sometimes it feels like when information filters in from outside in, that's when we take it more seriously as opposed to what our people here are telling us. Because I think we just have the idea of, okay, it's Nigeria, we're strong and we'll get over it. But then again, we need to understand that when it comes to people literally losing their lives, things should actually be taken very seriously because it's no joke for like 30 people to literally die in the States based on one particular thing. And if this can be avoided, it definitely should be avoided. But I believe, I mean, as you said, more campaigns should be done. We keep on talking about it, make sure that even we're doing our our parts, making sure that we stay sanitized and stay safe. Will definitely go a long way.
Apparently, there's also a vaccine for cholera as well, and that's something we should look into, have a conversation about later on. We have the Daily Trust newspaper with us as well. It says here, how PSC, NPF dispute stalls recruitment of 10,000 police. Only 20,000 instead of 60,000 picked in 6 years. Insecurity lingers due to lack of coordination. National Assembly must wade in, it says. 2 killed as police pro-Fubara youth clash in Rivers. On tax evasion, private jets owners jostle to beat 30-day deadline. APC wants Kwankwaso arrested over inciting comments. And what else do we have there? Okay, I think we have a photo story there as well about 5 years in office for Zulum. And there's some photos there on the cover of the Daily Trust.
Yeah.
When you think about private jets, you don't really think about the upkeep and how much tax must be involved in order to maintain that. I know that you have family in the aviation sector. I'm wondering if you've heard about these guys with private jets and how they're able to manage their taxes.
That's the thing. So it's not even only limited to the private jet guys. Even the commercial guys have a lot of this. But I think what happens that brings this thing to the fore is literally when, you know how we behave here. Do you understand? Even with normal, regular businesses, tax has always been an issue here because people would rather cut corners instead of actually doing the right thing, which is paying their tax, right? So, I mean, now, this is literally in the newspapers directed towards the aviation sector and private jets and all of that. I mean, the aviation sector has literally been in the news a lot these days and all of that. So I just hope that in the end of everything, what needs to be done actually get done, which is them paying their tax, as opposed to them greasing the palms of people and then evading it continuously, because I mean, that's literally what brings us here. And this situation of only 20,000 police recruitments being done, I think I mean, it is one that literally just bothers me sometimes, because I'm like, okay, fine, we do have the youth, we do have the manpower, what's stalling the recruitment? Okay. Do you understand? Because we're talking about insecurity literally reaching an all-time high and all of that, and then it's still a problem getting to get people that can actually serve in these areas. So it just actually boggles my mind to know, okay, fine, what is it that they're not seeing, what they want with regards to qualifications and all of that to recruit them. But I believe that they're doing all they can to literally get the...
I know there are police colleges all over Nigeria, and hopefully we'll definitely be following up with that particular story. I think it's very interesting. Yes. We have the Punch here with us as well. Major headline is on the Rivers crisis. Cop killed as youth dislodge pro-Wike local government chairman. Fubara meets security chiefs, warns against arrest of his supporters. Police take over 23 local government secretariats to forestall violence. It also says here on the Kano Emirate, Senate denies alleged emergency rule, NBA probes lawyers. Page 18 has more on that. $72 million diversion. Reps panel summons Ajib, NNPC, others. Federal government offers 17 new oil blocks for bidding. Revenue generating agencies owe federal government over 3 trillion naira, according to FAC. And let's see, right at the bottom here, it says on cholera, WHO, UNICEF hold emergency meeting. Experts warn corpers. Corpers in quote. Interesting. I would love to see the angle there. And abducted Fouani MD, 3 Lebanese reunite with families. Now that was an alarming one.
Yeah, that was.
Over the past week, we've been watching for updates with that particular story. We're pleased to hear that he's back with his family. But it actually does highlight the issue of security within Lagos, which is often considered one of the safest places to live in Nigeria. One of, in quotes, often considered, in quotes.
Because this particular situation was, I read the story and I was amused, because this was actually done in the daytime at a very popular location. And I'm wondering, Falomo, literally close to Falomo, and I'm wondering, like, okay, fine. And funny enough, it actually was done during a period where there was even like security presence, right? There, because there was some other thing that was going on that actually needed. So it seemed like a very, very coordinated arrangement, and it was really sad. But then again, it's good and great that he's back with his families, yes.
All right, then now we would love to hear your thoughts on the stories we highlighted today on the headlines in the dailies. Please use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and tag us on Instagram as WakeUpNigeriaTVCE. At this point, we have to head over to the kitchen. It's all yours.
Welcome to the kitchen, guys. So Chef Zion Grace just whispered in my ear, and she asked, "Are you still on a diet?" No, I am not on a diet. I am eating. Yes, I'm not on a diet. But hey, guys, if you are on a diet or on a fitness journey, this breakfast is for you. With me, Chef Zion Grace. How are you doing?
I'm fine.
All right, great to have you. So, guys, she is making fruit parfait this morning. Or should we say yogurt parfait? Because it's actually called yogurt parfait.
No, fruity parfait.
Fruity parfait.
Yes, because it involves more of fruit.
Okay.
And many of nuts.
Ah, so it's the difference here is we're having more fruits
Yes.
than the yogurt.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. Okay, I think this is healthy because then with the yogurt parfait, you have just a little bit of granola,
Yes.
and then you have bits and
Coconut
pieces
chips.
of
Yes.
apples, and then you have maybe bits and just maybe 5 nuts in it. And then at the end of the day, you're having more yogurts than even the fruits. So let's talk about the ingredients. So yeah, over to you.
Okay, this is grape.
Okay.
This is coconut flakes. This is granola. This is cashew nut. This is almond nut. This is coconut flakes. This is apple. This is kiwi. And this is yogurt.
And yogurt.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing about all of these ingredients right here on the table is that they are very high in nutrients, very rich in nutrients that would enrich your body. And we know what the doctor says, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Yes. So how do we begin? I saw that the yogurt is quite frozen.
Yes.
Okay. So how much of the yogurt are we going to be using for our fruit?
For per cup.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to using like 10 ml.
Okay.
With other 2 ml, but more of the fruits.
More
the
fruits.
grape,
Okay.
the apple, and the kiwi.
And the kiwi.
Yeah.
All right. Now let's talk. Let's approach more easier and cheaper options when it comes to fruits, because right now kiwi is not exactly
2,000 naira.
Yes. Kiwi is not cheap. Grapes, not cheap either. So for apples, we can manage with apples, right? And almond nuts, you go. Almond nuts are not cheap at all. And then for coconut flakes, yes, in between.
Yes.
And then we have our granola. It's not so, it's affordable,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And well, they say health is wealth, guys. So, but sometimes we also want to go for cheaper options. And if you missed out on the ingredients, guys, it's right there on your screen. We are having fruity parfait. Now let's talk about cheaper and more affordable options when it comes to our choice of fruits.
Okay. In the cheaper aspect of it, we can make use of, at least for the fruity,
Yeah.
we can make the apple without the kiwi, because I love kiwi, because kiwi helps the human. It helps to open the veins so the blood can flow.
Okay.
Especially like people that have a clot of blood.
Okay.
While eating the kiwi and all that, it helps open the veins.
Okay.
Yes.
We're going to talk more on, these fruits when we come back from our break. The show continues shortly, guys. We want you to stay with us.
Now, it's time for us to have a conversation on tech. Now, there's almost nothing you can't do online these days. And in fact, small businesses who haven't made the migration to having a digital version of their product, or maybe even digitized what they are selling, are probably at a major disadvantage these days. On Tech today, we're going to be having a conversation with Douglas Kenderson. And it's all about making sure that we understand exactly how digital products and services can help you and your business this morning. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me again.
Yes,
You
indeed.
look really beautiful today.
Thank you. How is it at Seller.co?
Doing really well. I mean, we have over 20 teammates today.
20?
Which is a big upgrade from the last time we saw. And really excited. And last year was our biggest year yet. So that's really good.
Amazing. So just for those that don't know what Seller.co is all about, please just give us an overview.
Very, very simple. If you have a book, if you have a course, if you have a training, or if you have knowledge you want to convert to like money, we make that very easy. So creators and sellers get to sell books, courses, trainings, consultation, coaching, and anything, really. We're trying to make the knowledge economy a big thing right now.
So where does the term, businesses are self-funding. They're bootstrapping their way forward. And not a lot of people understand how the process works and why it's actually working for some certain business and probably not for others. Could you help with that?
Okay, sure. So in the tech landscape today, I mean, before the funding downturn where it's now hard to raise capital, everybody was raising equity funding. everybody's raising $20 million, $10 million from VCs in the US and everything. And that was the way to go. I think for me, I have actually been very privileged to work across different startups over the years. Okay. I've worked at Paystack, I've worked at Flutterwave, I've worked in the UAE, and I have seen what like money does to a startup. Like I see where it's like perfectly useful and I see where it's not useful. Okay. And I think for me, it was very nice for me to build whatever I wanted to build. And I think so far, I was able to do it until it reached profitability. Okay. And it's a really great position because even now, if I want to raise money, I could, but I don't.
Okay.
So that's good.
So if I'm getting you clearly, some people focus on getting the capital.
Yes.
But the capital is not always the only thing that's important, right?
It's really not.
Okay.
It's really not. Because when you get the capital, you still have to work. And I think there's this like popular saying that like money just like amplifies whatever is there. So if the business is trash or bad, money will just show you and you will burn it faster. Okay. And the business is good, it will get you there faster. Yeah. So it's really important that like, if you're trying to build a business today, really work on being profitable, work on make sure the business makes sense. Okay. And everything,
Okay, so I know you've worked with quite a few startups. Can you give us sort of a skeletal overview of one that really worked and one that didn't? Maybe should we start with the one that didn't first? You probably have an example of that first. Do you think?
Technically, all the startups I've worked at have been very profitable and are profitable today, so that's good. But interestingly, I think I worked at a startup in the UAE. I think I can talk about that one because they were really, so at the time I'd worked there, I'd worked at 3 startups already. I've worked at 2 payment startups, and they were building like a okra for the Middle East. Okay. And they were really all over the place with that. Like they were switching directions every day. And that's just one of the things where like lack of vision really shows. And they were just excited. I think at some point the founders split. It was really messy. Okay. And so it's very important that like there's a direction of where you want to go as a business. Like you know what you're. And the thing is, it's funny how they were running around circles when a lot of what you're trying to do is not that new. Okay. Somebody has done it before, and you could pick.
I have a feeling you probably thought you had an opportunity to sort of give your input. What sort of advice would you have given that team?
Oh, I gave them all the advice that I wanted to give them. But I told them, I told them the direction in which you're going is, like, this is not how, because they were not trying to reach technical developers. Okay. They were building for God knows who the customers, they were building for customers that didn't exist. Wow. Or they didn't understand, and they also didn't understand the customer problem. And it was very interesting to learn that after I had left, they were doing all the things that I had suggested they do. Okay.
Did they recover?
I honestly don't know. And I think they've been pivoting over and over again, but I'm really not sure.
So I know that most people that work in the space you work in have to go through these particular, challenges, at least envision a great idea, make sure that they raise capital, get the business started. But then you have to go through those trials where maybe you work with a business that didn't actually do so well so that you know what not to do. Yeah. So now I know that with Seller.co right now, you have so many different options for startups to, push their business forward. Is there a funding platform right now or a funding process right now that you would advise people to try if they're trying to push their business forward?
I mean, interestingly, there are a lot of local, for people that are looking to like raise capital for their business, there are a lot of like funding options right now. There are a lot of angel investors, and I think the good thing is I was at an event where Otumba, I don't know his full name, but Otumba or something, and he runs a really successful VC startup. He invested in Paystack, Flutterwave. So there are a lot of local VCs that are really interested in like good ideas. But it's very important that you have your thing together. Okay. Yes.
Have your platform together.
Yes.
All right. So for those that don't understand what bootstrapping actually means, could you break it down a little?
So with bootstrapping, you are really building a lot of the revenue is, a lot of the capital is raised by you. Okay. You are not raising like maybe venture capital or angel investment, and you are typically running the business with the profit the business generates. Okay. And interestingly, that is so speaking of like local small SMEs, that's typically the local SME like process today. Okay. It's tech that really says, oh no, I cannot do a business if you don't give me money. Okay. And which in cases it's very essential.
But it feels like you're putting all into it. Once you're raising the funds yourself, you're more invested than if you're getting funds from other parties. Or is that the opposite?
That is true because, yeah, you don't have that much money, so you have to be extremely creative. I think that's one of the things. You get to be very creative. You get to really value every dollar that you spend. I think that's something that we at Seller, we're very like, every marketing dollar we put, like, so typically maybe with some startups that maybe raise a lot of money that they don't need, they might be doing like so many promos like, oh, come here, we'll give you 1,000 naira to sign up.
Wow.
And then it's like, and then those customers eventually churn. When you are a bootstrap business and the money is really small, you're like, you're very keen on all these like things that save you money and you don't just spend money anyhow.
There is a type of business that's kind of new well, not really new, but I like to call it monetizing your knowledge now. So in other words, those that don't do, they teach. And you've got a platform on Seller that helps to push for courses and things like that. Do you have any statistics or numbers that can help us, just to have a visual of how that type of business is doing? So we have a lot of motivational speakers and trainers and things like that, but are they actually making money?
Actually, they are. So, I mean, I can give you a stats for, so Seller really just makes that knowledge economy like work today. That's really our whole thing. We have a platform for that. That's what our platform is for. But I'll give you an example. I think in this is 2024, so in 2022, we, I think we did, creators of this kind sold over like 2 billion.
Wow.
And I think last year, by the time I was on your show, by the end of last year, creators sold over like 4 billion naira. So that's like people selling ebooks, people selling courses, coaches.
Wow.
I have seen Nigerian coaches sell internationally and sell tickets of like $6,000 and more. So so the market is really big, the market is really ripe. I think one of the things that people really doubted was like, oh my God, Nigerians don't pay for content, but we see that every day. And people don't pay for anything.
All right. No, it's a really interesting platform that you're running, and the fact that it's standing the test of time, it's really admirable. Well done, really. Thank you so much for the platform. We have Douglas here, and of course we'll be taking your comments and contributions on what exactly that platform is doing. Just use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria_on_TVC and let us know what you think. All right, then now we have to head back to MM has been standing by in the kitchen.
Yes, I have, with Chef Zion Grace. Hello, hello, hello. Yes, and this morning she's making fruity parfait. Yes, it's a different, it's same process for making your parfait, but in this case we are using more fruits than our yogurt. So let's go through the rest of the ingredients once again.
Grape, coconut flakes, granola, cashew nuts, almond nuts, coconut chips, kiwi, apple, and yogurt.
Yes, kiwi, apples, and yogurts. By the way, I love kiwis. I love, love, love kiwis.
Wow.
You know what is most interesting about some of the fruits that we're using here? One common thing with some of these fruits is the fact that they're all antioxidants, and they are very rich in vitamins that will nourish your body. They're also good for the brain, for the bones, and for your hearts. So take care of your hearts today by eating fruits. Yes. So let's get ready with our parfait. Let's teach them how to make our fruity parfait. Yes. And of course we have our frozen yogurt here. We know that our yogurt is very high in, in vitamins as well, that, nourish your body as much as your bone health, and also boost your immune system. Fight against those free radicals that are tugging at you, right? Okay, so and for some of the fruits, when it comes to affordability, we have fruits that can replace some of those fruits here if you cannot afford them. Yes. So we're going to talk about that earlier on before we went on a break. So you want to mention them?
Yes. Like the one for apple, but initially I prefer adding at least a little grape. Okay. Like the other side of keto, they sell half of the pack.
So if you can't buy the full pack, you can buy half.
Okay. You put banana.
Bananas.
Yes, add dates. If you didn't get date, you get the date syrup. Yeah.
And dates are very, very, very cheap. Very cheap. So let's get it going. So we're starting with our yogurts. And we're not using the conventional yogurts that you just grab off the counter.
Yes. We are
we are making use of the Greek yogurts.
Yeah.
It's the healthier yogurts. For those of you on a fitness journey, don't go deceiving yourself by buying the regular yogurt. No, the Greek one. So is this the sweetened or unsweetened Greek yogurt?
Unsweetened.
Unsweetened.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay.
Yeah. You put seal, apple, you lay it.
Okay.
Yeah. You put
And then our almonds.
your almond.
Our coconut flakes.
Yes.
Granola.
Granola.
Okay. Cashew.
Your cashew. You add just
A little bit of grapes.
grape.
Okay.
Finally,
And then we go
another
again.
layers.
All right. Nice. It's quite easy to make and very highly nutritious and filling as well. Yes, it is filling.
The feeling matters a lot.
Yes, it is filling. So that way you're not like, oh, I had fruits today. No, I need to have food. No, I think this is just enough. You know, at least it would, take you for a few hours, right? Yeah. And if you missed out on the ingredients earlier on, it's coming right up on your screen in a minute. Oh, there it is. Okay, so we're making fruity parfait. And for our fruits this morning, we have our kiwi, grapes, and apples. And then for our nuts, we are using cashew nuts and almond nuts. These nuts have been known to be one of the healthiest nuts. Alongside macadamia nuts, but those are pretty expensive, right? But they're very good for your brain health and for your bone health as well. And of course, there is no parfait without our granola oats, right? So our first cup of parfait is ready to go, and we'll continue with the rest later on. It's the top of the hour, guys. The show continues in a bit. Stay with us. Welcome once again to the second hour of the best breakfast show on Nigerian television. We hope that you're, we are ready for us. You have welcomed us into your home. Just as we like to be welcomed. Thank you very much.
We are a full course meal. We're here to delight your every single taste bud. And of course, we still have main course and dessert loading. So don't worry, don't worry.
And I really liked that in conversation earlier on with the Seller CEO on venture capitalism. Very interesting conversation.
Honestly, you have to monetize your knowledge. I think let's start a course. So how to host a breakfast show.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, it's about time.
We should do it.
It's about time.
We'll just do it.
Yeah. And of course, every experience here on the show is painstakingly curated just to make you happier, joyful, energetic, enthusiastic, and just ready to get on the day.
My name is Titilayo Oyinson.
And I'm Ememi Okoche. Of course, we have Winfrey right there in the kitchen with Chef Zion.
Yeah,
Grace.
they're talking
And,
right now about how to,
what
arrange
extra, flavor, extra syrup or extra fruit they can add to that fruity parfait. But guys, we implore you to follow us on all our social platforms at TVC Entertainment _.
Yes, indeed. Make sure you stay in the loop and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's TVC Entertainment on YouTube, because we're streaming live there right now. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you do not miss any content that's been tailor-made for you. Speaking of content that's been tailor-made for you, we are still going to have our nutrition conversation. Ayegbusi Temi Tokwe Bodunde is a registered nutritionist, dietitian, member of the Nutrition Society of Nigeria and American Society of Nutrition as well. He is also an advisor at the Tunakins Nutrition Care Limited, and we're going to be discussing dietary modifications and planned physical activity or tools that you can use for weight reduction.
And for a musical performance, we have Bad Boy Peking, whose music is like therapy. And of course, his journey is fueled by his deep love for music. And he'll be joining us later on to set the tone for the week.
Then on relationships, have you actually thought about what it is to be a real man? Yeah, Pastor Tosin Tokwe Babalola is a seasoned teacher of the Word of Life. He is a huge asset to his generation in the area of teaching on the subject of relationships and marriage. Apparently, He's been instrumental to helping some marriages stay marriages. He's well known for that, restoring several almost broken homes. And the topic today is a really interesting one. 10 things real men do in marriages. Yeah, okay. We've already touched on the monetizing our knowledge thing, but I know that Winfrey's already doing that. She has her courses on, please tell me what the name is again, please. The Pageant Academy.
Yeah.
Right? The Pageant Academy. She's already monetizing her knowledge, and it's always so great to see. Now, the numbers he gave us, millions is being made in that particular space. How come I'm not teaching now? Why am I the last?
Yeah, but you are actually making impact because with, I know your podcast.
Yeah.
I think I caught up on one yesterday, the book one.
Yes, it was an author, yeah.
Yeah, so that is you making impact because it's in the little things, really.
Yeah.
I mean, because I meet people almost every day, even in my DMs who reach out and they are like, even with the things that I post, the projects that I do and all of it, they're somewhat inspired by it. So it's we don't know how we are impacting lives and ministering to people
little by
in
little.
the things by the things that we do. So I mean the only difference is we are not monetizing it, but the monies are coming somewhere or another
very, very soon.
Exactly.
The bigger monies is what we're talking about. Those thousands of dollars he was talking about, that's the one. That's where we need to that's where we need to be. But it does feel like business has so evolved over years. And people wouldn't see that as a business. They just see it as giving back.
Yeah.
Right?
The truth is, what I feel, I think recently, like there's a lot of people in that space now where, I mean, you have success with anything and then the next thing you want to do is literally monetize it. And it actually makes sense because despite the fact that some people really do that based on the fact that they want to really and genuinely pass knowledge, some people really just do it because they just want to make money. So sometimes you buy some courses and you're like, what's this I just buy? What's this I hear? Not seriously.
Really?
And it happens like that a lot of,
Okay.
And of course, so yeah.
So just make sure you're very sure about what you want to learn, and if that educator or teacher is giving you exactly what you need before you jump on it. Thanks for joining us. It's time for another news update. Titilayo Oyinson here. Now, for job seekers and aspiring business owners in Lagos, it's good news as the Lagos state government, along with other organizations, have introduced a program to enable relevant skill acquisition that can ensure financial stability. Iniolua Popola has more details.
This is the official launch of the Lagos State Youth Upskill Program. This is a program that would not just empower about 1 million youths with relevant digital skills, but would enable them get placement for jobs and income generation opportunities.
The website that we created.
The Commissioner for Youth and Social Development, Mobolaji Ogunlende, noted that this would ensure many young persons are up to date with recent technological trends.
LAGO, being implemented in collaboration with our esteemed partners, GFA Technologies and Wema Bank, represents a significant step towards empowering our young people. It is a testament to our shared commitment to invest in the future of Lagos State and, by extension, Nigeria. LAGO will not only provide training, but also provide a digital platform for SMEs to bolster their sales and growth. Additionally, it will establish a digital business data repository for governmental and stakeholder use and create an interactive digital platform.
He also revealed that this would propel Lagos State to be at the forefront of technological advancement while driving economic growth for generations.
The administration of our governor, your governor, Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, will not relent in its investment and support for the development and growth of the teeming population of youth in Lagos State, as it is committed to providing an enabling environment for them to thrive and reach their potentials. The project's implementation will occur in phases, with each cohort undergoing virtual training sessions for a minimum of 3 months. Participants aged between 18 to 35, fluent in reading and writing, and residents in Lagos will have the opportunity to earn certificates from esteemed partners such as Google, Microsoft, Meta, and AWS, to mention a few.
With this initiative on board, poverty, inequality, and unemployment may become non-existent in the lives of many. Inioluwa Popola, TVC News, Lagos.
President Bola Tinubu has arrived Pretoria, South Africa, where he will attend the inauguration of President Cyril Ramaphosa, following his re-election as President of South Africa for a second time. President Tinubu was invited alongside about 18 world leaders who will witness the oath-taking by President Ramaphosa. President Tinubu's participation will also strengthen existing bilateral and trade ties between the two countries, who are Africa's biggest economies. The acting permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ben Okoyen, says President Tinubu's presence is also an endorsement of democratic governance. The South African president secured victory after his party, the African National Congress, entered an unprecedented coalition with other parties. The ANC won only 40% of the votes in the 29th of May election and lost its absolute majority in the country's parliament. And that's all we can take on news and sports for the second hour of the show. There's still quite a bit coming your way. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for staying with us on this amazing Wednesday edition of Wake Up Nigeria. And of course, you know, on Wednesdays, we like to give you tips on how to stay healthy on our nutrition segment. And right now, today, for the third time on Wake Up Nigeria, join me as I welcome Ayegbusi Temitokwe Bodunde, a registered nutritionist dietitian, member of Nutrition Society of Nigeria, member of American Society of Nutrition, nutrition advisor. Okay, how far? And his list literally goes on. And today we'll be talking about a very, very interesting conversation, dietary modification and planned physical activity, tools for weight reduction. Welcome back to Wake Up Nigeria.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here today.
Okay, I mean, reading out your profile, how did that make you feel?
Yeah.
Good, right? You put in the work.
Yes.
You put in the work.
Yes.
Nice, amazing. Okay, now today we're talking about something I think is very, very interesting, right? Weight reduction, right? And there's a lot of myths out there. People believe, okay, fine, if you don't eat. Some people say it's intermittent fasting. Some people say it's exercise. So in your from your angle, right, as a nutrition dietitian, what would you say is the best way to go about weight reduction?
Okay, so when you talk of weight reduction, we have many information out there that are not correct. I call them fallacies and fadisms.
Okay.
Because you see many of them, they talk of slimming tea, toast tea.
Yes.
All those things, they are not real.
They are not real?
Yes, they are not real. The manufacturer, what they do, they create something we call placebo effect in public health. So they just create a faith, like this works. But when you look at it critically, they are not evidence-based and they are not scientific-based.
Okay.
So when you talk of weight loss, two things play significant role in weight reduction and weight loss. Diet and physical activity.
Okay.
These two things play the major role.
Major role.
Because we are what we eat. It's what you take in, the body process, and the body give to the cells in the body.
Okay.
So, and when you talk of this diet, before you even go to that, let's talk of our body.
Yeah.
When you talk of metabolizing fat, breaking down fat, the body is divided into three. We have the ectomorph. Those are people that their body does not retain fat. Yes, we have the mesomorph. The mesomorph,
is one of them.
Yes. The mesomorph, these are people that their body can process fat normal, their body can take in, and their body can use.
Yeah.
And we now have endomorph. Okay. This endomorph, these are people that their body retains a lot of fat tissues, and their body find it difficult to get rid of it. So the first thing, if you find yourself in any of these, then modifications can actually suit your problem, because if you are at the part of the endomorph that your body retains, so you should know that you can't consume like people with ectomorph, because your body can retain more. So if you consume more, your body retain more. That is what we see
Okay.
in people's body.
This actually makes a whole lot of sense because I mean, people just go on different diets and different exercise regimes and all of that, all in the bid to actually kill the weight. And then now getting to understand that you need to first know your body types. We even know what works for you, whether it's exercising that works for you or maybe portion control or things like that. But before I go further in the exercise and diet and the way it's meant to work. Let's even talk more about the slimming tea. Now, you spoke about the placebo effects. If you don't mind on putting more light on that, because a lot of people actually say, oh yeah, they've had this slimming tea. Some of them actually go on some people actually take tablets now and all of that and say, okay, fine, it actually works. I actually felt lighter. I feel lighter. I feel I've lost a number of kgs. So what we talk about...
it's not true.
It's not true?
Yes.
So,
because when those detox tea, what they do is they hydrate the water concentration in the body. You know, the body is made up of a lot of composition, the water, the fat, the muscle. So when you take those slimming tea, they reduce the water because the water in the body is part of our weight.
So instead of the fat?
Yes. The water is what they hydrate. They remove the water. That's the function of those teas.
Wow.
And those teas to contain high content of caffeines. So when you keep taking them, you are overpowering some of the body organs, like the heart. Yes. People that take them, at the long run, they will be diagnosed of hypertension.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a problem. So there is no any slimming tea or there is no any kind of ingredient that you need to take to just burn down your fat. It's not possible because what takes you 2 to 3 months to accumulate.
You can't just burn it down.
You just want to remove it in a twinkle of an eye. It's not possible.
Magic.
Not possible.
Okay, anyway, so now let's head back to the types of bodies that we have and now the perfect diet regimen for these when it comes to weight reduction. Okay.
So, you know, one thing about nutrition is and that makes me happy is because everything we do, everything in our practice is individualized. You understand? So for you to, you want to go on a weight reduction diet, the first thing, you have to assess yourself. Okay. You have to do a kind of assessment. So if you do, let me just give a simple clue. You can do what we call body mass index.
Okay.
And so that body mass index, after you take your weight in kg, you take your height in centimeter, you divide them. It's going to give you a kind of figure. And this figure, at the end of this figure, you are going to compare it with a reference standard. You have a reference standard that at the end of the whole thing, we have 18.5. Less than 18.5 is underweight. 18.5 to 24.5 is normal. So 25 to 29.9 is overweight. And from 30 above is obesity. So after you do this, so that will give you a clue of how many kg you need to lose. Yes. So you don't just start taking things and start. So with that, you can now, okay, how can you achieve this? Like I said before, diet and physical activity. So let me talk of the physical activity first. Yes. The physical activity is divided into two. We have the exercise-related thermogenesis. Those are kind of exercise that is structured and planned. Okay. Those are the ones that, okay, at the end of 3 weeks, I'm supposed to lose 1 kg. At the end of 1 month, I'm supposed to lose 2 kg. Because in a concise dietary plan with physical activity plan, the amount of kg you can lose in 1 month is just 2 kg, which is 2,000 grams. Yes, if you follow it strictly, you can't lose more than that. It is, yes, it's evidence-based.
Is it evidence-based?
Yes.
Are you sure?
100%. Okay. You can't lose more than that. 2 kg, 2,000 grams. So, and because it's a continual process. So you have to keep following. So that is why if we are managing, any patient I'm managing, for you to see a significant result, you will have followed everything I give to you for like 6 months.
6 months?
Yes.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking if you're sure is because I recently just went off the diet. So I actually was on a diet for 21 days. And I lost 4 kg. 21. In fact, I was not even at the end of it. 21. Anyway, it was a combination of portion control and a lot of exercising.
Even with the portion control, are you sure? Did you take the assessment from the beginning?
I did. Yes, I did check. I checked my weight before, and then I checked it after.
Like I said, that we have different body chemistry.
True.
That might be the factor.
True.
But on a norms, if we are educating our patients, we can't tell them that they are going to lose 4 kg because if they didn't,
Yes.
if that is not achieved, they think
I mean,
the information.
it's reasonable. Like they're measuring.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it makes sense.
So we can say, okay, 2 kg, you have to lose this if in the space of this. So on physical activity, like I was saying, you have to structure it. So the structured one is maybe you do a brisk walking in the morning, 30-minute brisk walking. And brisk walking, when you are walking, you are training your leg, you are training your hand. You are trying to exercise the muscle so that the fat concentration in the body, you are getting rid of them.
Yes.
And we have the non-exercise related. That is the normal occupation activity, like you wake up in the morning, you wash your clothes, you sweep, you cook. All those ones too, you burn a little. But just that one you can't quantify.
True.
Understand? And the main thing here is not the diet.
Okay.
What do you eat? You know you already are, maybe you fall at the part of the endomorph, and you are the type that you want to eat, you eat like 5 eggs in a day, you fried all your food, everything, you are just frying. Because when you fry, you increase the saturation of the fat. And when the saturation of the fat, when the saturation of the fat gets to the body, they create more cholesterol because the saturation contains what we call LDL, low density lipoprotein, that creates extra cholesterol in the body.
Okay.
Understand? So when you want to, you're reducing your weight as a person, you are supposed to abstain from fatty food, fried food, ultra-processed food, like what we discussed last week, ultra-processed food, and even sometimes processed food.
Okay.
You should live solemnly on natural
foods from.
And if you are consuming, our normal cereal-based, rice-based, and if you are eating fruits too, you have to quantify your fruit.
Your fruits, because some fruits actually contain a high level of sugar.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I mean, this conversation can literally go on and on and on. But it's amazing because we're having you here again next week. So hopefully we can continue the conversation and also look at other very important nutritional tips. Thank you so much for being here. And now we actually have to go on a break. Still so much more happening right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. And we are back. Thanks for staying with us. It's time for our relationship segment. Of course, you know we do this every Wednesday on the show. Today with me is Pastor Tosin Tokwe Babalola. He's a seasoned teacher of the Word of Life, a huge asset to his generation in the area of teaching on the subject of relationships and marriages. He's on an assignment to embrace create change, in marriages. And of course, he is a certified advanced marriage counselor from the Institute of Marriage and Family Affairs, USA. And today we discuss 10 things real men do in marriages. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome once again.
Thank you for having me one more time.
Yes, now let's establish who a real man is.
Of course, well, one of the disorder of this generation is that we assume that a male is a man. Okay, so we need to establish the fact that being a male does not necessarily make you a man.
Okay.
A male is your gender. The man is the acceptance of the responsibilities of the office of a male. So a real man is that person that has gathered enough strength, wisdom, knowledge to stand in the different offices he's required to occupy. Because a man is not just a husband, he's a father too. He's a part of a larger society. He's supposed to be a son-in-law, a brother-in-law to some ladies. So he occupies different positions. He's supposed to be, an entity in the workplace, performing his roles and all of that. So a male is not necessarily a man. But if you're going to be a man, it is dependent on how much you can embrace the responsibilities attached, to your different offices. Yes. You must be able to occupy different positions at different times with a sense of balance. It's not that your religious involvement is affecting your home front, your career is not affecting, your social balances. You must be able to,
balance up
everything. That's where you're man.
But is that possible?
Very possible.
Okay.
I think one of the challenges that we have around, all of our responsibilities is our inability to structure things. Structures are very powerful. If you understand, while growing up as a married man, I had challenges with that too. I've always lived my life independently. doing my things and all of that. I just discovered at some point that I need to be more deliberate about people around me. So I needed to create structures, and it has helped. It has really, really helped.
Now, let's highlight these 10 things, which is the focus, for the conversation this morning.
Okay, so we might not be able to exhaust
all of them.
But let's just mention as many as we can. Number one thing is that a real man, especially in the context of marriage, must be able to create leadership. That's number one. Number two, they must be able to create an atmosphere of love. We are in an environment where we believe that the expression of love is primarily for the female folks, and it's not true. If you're a leader, then you should create the atmosphere that is operational in your home. So they must be able to, create an atmosphere that reflects love. A man must be an epitome of standards. Okay, so these are the values and systems we want to. A man must also be able to provide. Pardon me, I'm one myself, but I should say boldly that a lot of men are lazy in this generation. In fact, we are becoming pest-like. We identify a successful or a progressive woman and want to be in their space, because we want to benefit from them. That's not the ideal situation. In fact, if you have to introduce yourself as a man, it means something is wrong, because your results and the way you participate in the running of your home and your affairs should reflect that you are a man. All right, so that's another thing that I also believe strongly, not because I'm a pastor, but because it's part of our societal composition, that a man should give religious direction.
Religious direction.
It's also very, very important. A man must be a manager of emotions. These are some of the things that,
You say a manager of emotions.
Yes.
Wow. From a man, men are not known to be emotional beings.
That's why I said
this regard. So if a man right now watching is struggling with that area, what would you advise? What steps does he need to take, to be that, emotional being, which is required? It is a prerequisite in this regard, to be a real man, in the context of marriage.
Yes, a man might not be emotional, but if he's going to make the best of his home, he must be a good manager of emotions. I re-emphasize that, because you will be dealing with a lot of emotional people around you. Number one is your wife. A woman can go from 100% to 0 in 1 minute.
1 minute, yeah.
So there are switches. And so another stunning thing about women is that a lot of the times they say the opposite of what they want. So if you take them literally for what they have said, you might be. And that is why it is essential for a man to be a good manager of emotions. You know when to talk, when not to talk, when to ignore, when to respond, when to be apprehensive, when just to laugh things off and all of that. You need to master that. And, well, to narrow it down to your question, how will a man learn that? It's unfortunate that school is the only institution where you get certified before the learning. And I believe that we should be more deliberate about learning. Because these things can be learnt. They might not be there. We all came empty. We are a product of the things we have taken in. So if you feel that you are deficient in a particular area, the ego of a man obstructs his learning process. I've observed that.
Yes.
And we need to repent from that. We need to stop it. We are all learners. And so we should be humble enough to accept the fact that we do not understand these proceedings and we need to learn it.
Okay.
In fact, what we are discussing today, I wrote a whole book about it.
Wow.
Because I discovered that people need to learn these principles. So a man must be, the fact that you are not emotional, or let me say highly emotional, because men are actually emotional. We have just been trained to gloss over our emotions.
They're not seen to be emotional.
Yes, we should not be seen, which is also a wrong teaching. I mean, it's okay to be vulnerable, especially in the space of people you love, so that they can know when you need help. So I don't believe that we should not be emotional. We should express it, of course. It should be minimal. It should be managed. You should not become a pet because you're trying to be emotional. But it's also okay to do that.
Okay.
So
let's run through the other things.
Okay, so I've mentioned they must provide.
He must be a leader.
He must be a leader. He must give religious direction.
He must be a manager of
He must bear the burden of all members of the family.
Okay.
All right. You must be able to help them in decision-making processes. A man must know. There are so many men, they don't know.
Okay, so now, when a man must know,
yes,
it's sort of implying he must be perfect. He must know it all. So I would like you to expatiate, broaden it out so that people can understand.
Okay, so people, we are not meant to be perfect. In fact, nobody is. But at least you must have answers to probably 70% of the questions in the heart of the people you are leading. And, you know, sometimes you don't have instant answers. That's okay. But when necessity requires that you begin to learn some of these things, you must. There are questions that my kids will ask me. I don't have answers to them. I have a girl of 16. I've never been a girl before. You know, she would ask me some of these questions. I don't have the answers. But I tell her, give me a while, give me a little time. I'll get back to you on this. It means that I must become deliberate about searching out answers for the ones I lead.
Which is something you said earlier on, but deliberate about learning.
Learning, yes. So you must know. If all of the times your answer is, I don't know, they won't come to you anymore. They look for answers elsewhere, which is dangerous. You are exposing your family. So a man must know. The truth about it is that their focuses, their areas of interest are different. My first daughter loves music. The second one loves fashion. The third one, who is a boy, you know, loves football. So I must be able to stand in gaps, representing a man to each of them individually, because we can't train them as a unit. We need to train them individually, depending on their areas of interest. So a man must be on his toes to learn, to know, so that he can teach.
Okay.
So this is one of the emphases of the rules of a man. I don't know how many I've mentioned or how many I've left out.
Well, you've mentioned quite a few. You've mentioned 5 or 6 so far, but let's quickly just take one more and then wrap it up.
Okay, so I talked about leadership.
Yes.
I think that's also very, very important. That will give leadership to the family. A family is expected to have a direction. Are we a religious family? We must be able to establish that.
What are our values?
What are our values? What do we stand for?
Yeah.
Where do we go? What is permissive here? What is not? You know, some fathers want to be ice cream sellers. That makes everybody happy. You must know when it is such that you should make your family happy. You must know when it is such that you should stand firm on this principle.
You should know when to be assertive and when to be emotional. Have a good balance.
Balance of both, yeah.
Fantastic. This has been a very insightful conversation. Thank you so much, Pastor.
Yes.
And we'll head over to the kitchen now.
All right.
Our chef has been hard at work. She made fruity parfait. I hope you like fruits.
I do.
Please,
I'm a lover.
shall we?
Thank you.
After you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful Wednesday so far, yes?
Yes, it has. And insightful conversations from nutrition to relationship.
Yeah, of course.
Welcome to the kitchen, Pastor Tokwe. And this morning, Chef Zion Grace has made fruity parfait for you. And so in here we have kiwi, grapes, apples, and almond nuts.
Yes, cashew
nuts.
Yes, coconut chips.
And coconut flakes. We also have granola in there.
And of course, the key is the yogurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
fantastic.
the key actually is the fruits, not the yogurts.
Really?
Actually,
Okay,
in this
that's
recipe.
interesting.
Right. So please
You want me to
enjoy.
take
Yes.
Please have a
a
taste.
dose of...
It looks really good. Well done.
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
Very attractive.
Thank you, sir.
And healthy.
What do you think?
This is nice.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, well
Very
done.
nice.
Glad.
Thank you.
Well done. Well
Chef
done.
Zion Grace there.
And on that note, it's been a fabulous Wonder Woman Wednesday right here on Wake Up Nigeria. Tomorrow is Thursday, and we'll definitely be back on your screen. Do not go anywhere. Stay here.
Have a great day, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.